So I'm sure you all know what time it is. The new blog chapter came out and I'm here to review it, talk about it, and basically go over the whole thing for you. And if you enjoy this type of content, of course, make sure to like the video and subscribe to my channel since I do make blog content quite often and it's pretty high quality in my opinion. So you should also check out some more of my videos. But without further ado, let's get into the chapter review. This chapter picks up from the last chapter where Barra made his amazing shot in the Italy versus Germany match. And this goal basically served to prove that Isagi's not the only one that's been evolving during the Neo-Egoist League, and there's also top scorers like Barra who are able to score hat tricks in high level games. He's able to score this goal due to something called Predator Vision, which was taught to him by Mark Snuffy, because in Snuffy's own words, a shot like Barra's is easy to stop if one can figure out his timing and motion, and a world-class goalkeeper won't let him score so easily. So he must learn to shoot when the enemy lowers his guard. To do this, Barra's constantly observing the goalie, using his senses to see the moment where he drops his guard, and the moment he can score his perfect goal when he's in the goalie's blind spot. With this amazing vision and impeccable timing, according to the announcers, Gagamara wasn't even able to move a single step, tying the game up 1-1. Isagi, in response to this goal, says to himself that before he even had a chance to stop them, they executed their perfect plan and scored. But the way they were so in sync, it's not something you can ad-lib off the fly. And knowing the timing to know when to execute their plan is impossible to pull off without some hardcore training. A team with a myriad of contingency plans on both offense and defense. So this is the backbone of the Uber's strength. Showing that Isagi has now learned that the Uber team does have contingency plans for almost every situation, and as we know, those are constructed by the master, Mark Snuffy. Isagi continues to say, but still, that doesn't fully explain Barra's shot. And the fact that Gagamara couldn't even react, that means somehow they threw off his timing. If that's the case, then that means Barra didn't shoot when he wanted to. He patiently waited for the exact moment they threw off Gagamara's timing. Which, as we know, is true. You know, if we go back to the last chapter, we see that what Gagamara is seeing is basically a haze in the field where he can't even really see where the ball is, and neither can he see Barra, so he couldn't really predict this shot at all. Isagi then has the realization that Barra has a new way to utilize his vision. He says, of course, with Barra's shooting ability, if he manages to throw off the goalkeeper's timing, he can mass produce goals at an efficient rate. That's why he's constantly keeping the goalkeeper in his sight when he plays. That's why he can see the exact moment the opponent drops his guard. There's no doubt that this is Barra's new piece, a vision specialized in outreading the goalkeeper in 1v1s to mass produce goals, Predator Eye. A totally different vision from Meta Vision. Now this Predator Vision may be one of the few abilities we see in the Neo-Egoist League that are actually genuinely able to turn 0 into a 1. We know that 1 is the Kaiser impact, and Isagi notes that when he first sees it, Barra is actually able to visualize the goalie and keep him in his sights at all time, and actually coordinate with his team as well, which are amazing defensively and offensively, allowing him, as Isagi said, to mass produce goals. Anyways, after Barra scores his goal and Isagi explains his vision, we cut to Ness, who's saying he hasn't done a single thing in the match, and Michael Kaiser just tells him to stop the miserable look and target Lorenzo, and if they can peel him off, they'll win. Since as we know, Lorenzo is really locking down Kaiser, a lot of people were theorizing that Kaiser would come back and, block Barra's goal or something. I personally never believed it because Lorenzo was literally on him at all times. We haven't seen him once really do anything ever since he got blocked off, showing that Lorenzo really deserves his title as the best U20 defender. But anyways, Ness says, okay, leave Lorenzo to me, so we can probably expect some kind of rivalry between Ness and Lorenzo if Lorenzo doesn't just shake him off, which I expect him to do. We then go to Corona and Isagi, to which Corona says, how many strategies do you think the Ubers have up their sleeves? But if they keep playing within their expectations, they're screwed. So Yukimiya asks him if he has some sort of plan. A strategy is useless if the enemy is able to predict and counter it. Remember what Noah told us before the game. The key to this game is winning your 1v1 duels, and the game restarts. The game starts with Ness having the ball and saying we can create things in the midfield. With Kaiser and myself, we can easily dominate the middle third. Then he says the challenge is the attacking third, which dividing the pitch into thirds, the attacking third is the space in front of the goal. I'll do whatever it takes to help Kaiser score. But after Ness passes to Kaiser, Lorenzo comes in and says 1v1, okay, but Kaiser simply responds, it's a 2v1, you gold-toothed weirdo, and passes it to Ness, who blocks off Lorenzo's course. Then Ness says a 1-2 block and lob, and passes it to Kaiser, and Lorenzo says not bad Ness, got a little stronger I see, which implies that Kaiser and Ness probably have played together against Lorenzo before, which is a pretty interesting piece of lore if it's true. Ness just responds, I'm Kaiser's shield, but Lorenzo says, but that pattern, and Ryu's debut in the match finally comes, and he swats the ball out of the air, which shows that this was all in their expectations as well, and this even makes Hiyori say, what kind of visualization and simulation training are they doing at the Ubers? After this, Ness tries to go get the ball, but is completely overpowered by the physical stats of Lorenzo, and it seems like Lorenzo's gonna get the ball. But the heart of Blue Lock comes out of nowhere and says not good enough Lorenzo while grabbing the ball. Isagi then says I got it, I see the duel I need to win. From Ness's block to Ryu's clearance to retrieving the loose ball, I saw it all. If I try to stop and analyze the situation first, it's obvious that the Ubers with their infinite strategies and perfect teamwork are going to outread me. But in a fluid and chaotic flow of the game in a 1v1 situation, my meta vision is better. But Niko the Watchtower comes out of nowhere and kicks the ball out of bounds. Isagi is obviously shocked at this, and Niko just says, Isagi, as expected, your vision and football IQ are top notch, showing that Niko also has meta vision. Now I'm sure this doesn't surprise most people since it was kind of obvious that Niko would get this power up, and it's even kind of implied that he might have had it in the U20 match, maybe to some lower degree, when he was able to stop multiple of Sei's plays. Now that we finished the chapter overview, we can get to my thoughts on it and what I think will happen in the future. To start off with Predator Vision, this is a truly amazing ability for a striker to have, especially one like Barr with an amazing team, and it'll most likely be very hard for the Germany team to adapt to it. But there is one person that I think will be able to use this piece to its advantage. This character is of course Isagi. Now some people may say that Isagi is evolving too fast and is doing too much in this match. Me personally, I don't believe so since there is such a short time until the U20 games. But if we look in the past, Isagi kind of has a consistency for being able to adapt to techniques or abilities similar to Rayo's but on a lower scale, I guess you could say. But in this aspect, it could actually be better than Rayo's since he actually has conscious experience of using metavision, whereas Rayo in his vision hasn't really been hyped up all that much. Although he seemed to have used metavision in his flow state in the Manshine City match, we don't know if he has conscious knowledge of this, so it could be easier for someone like Isagi to copy this vision since he has conscious knowledge of using metavision itself. Now if Isagi were able to use this ability, it would definitely help him a lot, seeing as knowing where the goalkeeper is at all times and being able to track them would make it so all he has to do really to get a guaranteed goal is to get past the defense, which he's been shown to be able to do. I'd also like to mention that Kaiser may be someone that's used Predator Vision before, although we don't know if it was on purpose or not, or if he even really did confirm use it. We see in the Manshine City match, in this match all of the defenders are in front of the goalie and Chigiri tells Kaiser that his shot course is dead, but Kaiser just tells him he's blind and shoots the ball perfectly with pinpoint accuracy to get through all the defenders and make it so the goalie couldn't even grab the ball. But unlike Barra's shot, the goalie was actually able to react. But while Augie of the Manshine City team is talking about that goal, he says how did he even see that shot course, and even if he did, he aimed for the spot perfectly. And if you think about it, this ability is kind of the opposite of metavision, where metavision is using your peripheral vision to get a grasp of the entire field at the same time, while this is using your central vision to get a grasp of one player to know exactly when to shoot. I think either way, Isagi with experience just would have gained this ability, but knowing that it actually exists and someone's able to use it would definitely make the process of getting the ability way faster for Isagi. Since as you know with Metavision, as soon as he learned that it existed, he realized that he'd been using it for his amazing goals and just began using it on command in the same match. Now going on to Niko and his Metavision, I think seeing a clash between Niko and Isagi now that Isagi knows that he has Metavision will be an interesting matchup, but I do think Isagi will come out on top, and here's why. As we know, after the Manshine City match, Isagi gained knowledge of egocentrism, and currently Isagi uses egocentrism as an extension of Metavision, using them both in conjunction to control the field like a puppet master. Now to be fair, we don't know if Niko has any idea that this exists, but going on to the assumption that it doesn't, I just see Isagi's winning because it's on another level, being that he has this key piece of egocentrism. Now as of who I think will win this match, I think this might be the most decisive match in the Neo-Egoist League arc right now, but to be honest, I don't see many ways that the Germany team can win this. Not only do the Ubers have countless strategies from a master Mark Snuffy, but they also have the ace striker Barra on their team, as well as an amazing defensive lineup with Aiku and Niko back there, one of them having confirmed Metavision, and Aiku arguably having Metavision in his flow state. Not to mention Don Lorenzo, the best striker under 20 in the world, who is currently locking down one of the Germany team strikers, Michael Kaiser. But don't get me wrong, this does give way for Isagi to score some of his goals, depending on how he changes and adapts to the situation, since Lorenzo is on Kaiser. But like I said in my last video, it is definitely possible that Lorenzo will switch targets and start going for Isagi if he seems more dangerous. Now onto the most disappointing character in this chapter, who doesn't even make an appearance, I don't think, Raichi. Now even though he doesn't make an appearance, he is very hyped up in the beginning of this match, with him being started as one of the starting 11. Not only that, but he also got the volume cover for this volume, so you would think in this volume he would have something really amazing to show, right? Well, no, not exactly, since the next volume cover already came out, and it seems like Raichi won't do anything yet. but I won't give up on him just yet because I believe in the writer of Blue Lock, and you know, when he hypes something up, it's always executed perfectly and it ends up leaving me in awe. But what really surprised me about this chapter is that Ness wasn't thrown out because of his play before by trying to sabotage Isagi. We do know there was time in between where the game started and stopped, so there was plenty of time for him to be thrown out, but no one knows what kept him in. Also, real quick, to go back on the metavision point, Ryo and Niko's metavision eyes are different than Isagi's, where Isagi's is kind of like a puzzle piece, of course, but theirs are, for lack of a better term, kind of like a pizza slice, I guess you could say. So this could be some like lower version of metavision, but we haven't got a real answer yet, so I'll leave that up to you. But that's all I have for today. As always, I really enjoyed this chapter, and if you liked the video and me explaining it, please leave a like and also subscribe to my channel since I do make Blue Lock content quite often, and also comment down below what you think of the chapter and metavision itself. But with that out of the way, goodbye.